Hello friends, welcome to the video number 17 for the JavaScript video tutorial series. And well, in this video I'm gonna try to explain in a very basic and simple way what is the variable scope, or the scope of a variable. So we are basically gonna be talking about the difference between a global variable and a local variable. Um, so I have prepared this very basic, simple example again, just to try to explain or make a very easy example of what's the concept of a global variable and a local variable. So here I have a very basic web page with just two paragraphs, and I have given them IDs. One has an ID of global and the other one has an ID of local. So if we see this in Chrome, well, I get my two paragraphs pretty easy. So I'm gonna try to be replacing this text in these paragraphs with the values that are stored in my variables. So first of all, inside of the script, I am declaring a variable just right there, right, that I'm pretty conveniently named my global. And I am assigning it just a small string of text that says I am a global. Um, Well, by doing this again, I'm gonna try to explain it first. A global variable is basically a variable that can be accessed or can be seen pretty much anywhere in the code, in my code, right, or the JavaScript code. So um, that's why we refer, or what we are referring when we say the variable scope is where we can see, or well, the code JavaScript where can see and access that variable. So in this case, again, it's a global, so it can pretty much be seen and used anywhere. And well, then I have here defined a function, again, pretty conveniently named my function. It takes no parameters, no arguments. And well, inside of the body of a function, I have declared another variable, says variable my local, and I am assigning it another string of text that says I am local. And well, inside of the function, we have already seen this in previous videos. So I'm just telling JavaScript, okay, go to the document, and then you're gonna get an element by its ID. That ID is global, is this paragraph right here. And then you're gonna try to change its inner HTML, and you are going to assign whatever the value that is stored inside of my global variable, okay? And then, well, pretty much the same thing, but just go and find the ID local, and you're going to assign whatever is stored in my local, which, well, I have just defined in here inside of this same function. So what we have said about the global variables, I shouldn't have any problems, or well, the function shouldn't have any problems finding this variable right here, retrieving the information or the value that is stored, and then make the replacement in here. And well, of course, here I have declared this local variable right here. So as we are inside of this function, I should be able to access this variable with no problems. Um, so by running this function, we should be able to change both values of these paragraphs. And well, here I'm gonna be calling my function right here. Now these two instructions that we have right here, I have them again in here, just outside of any other block of code. They are placed just directly inside of the script. So in here, well, again, I have my global variable, of course, so this shouldn't represent any kind of problem. But what about this one? Here I'm gonna be trying to replace this value with my local, but this variable is locked. Let's say it's placed inside of this function that I have right here. So it's declared inside of this function. Now this function or this local variable should be kind of like encapsulated, let's say, inside of this function. So whenever this part of the code is trying to find this local variable, it shouldn't be able to see it, right? It's like this function is wrapping all this code, so this local variable cannot be seen outside of the code. Okay, so well, let's try to run this. The first thing we're gonna do is run the function. So let's save this. Again, we said that in here we should be able to replace both, right? So let's go back to the page and reload. And well, of course, it's changing both paragraphs. Let's comment this again and take it back to the original values. And well, now we're gonna try to do it directly, right? Just directly from the script. It's not, again, not inside of any kind of block of code. And we said that we should not have any kind of problems with the global variable, right? But again, the local variable should be locked inside of this block of code, and then it should not be able, well, the code, the outside code should not be able to see this local variable. So let's save this, go back and refresh. And well, of course, it is changing the global variable, or well, yeah, the value of the global variable is replacing the value in the paragraph, but the local is not being found, so nothing is done in here. So again, I know it's probably a very basic way to try just to explain the basics about how global and local variables work, how to try to use the scope of your variable. Um, Now, just one more thing. In general, um, try not to use, or we are encouraged, I guess, to not use any global variable as much as we can. We have seen, for example, how to use parameters and then, well, calling the function and passing the arguments, then let the function do whatever it needs, and then use the return statement to get anything that we need back and continue with the code. So that's probably a much better way to do things. The problem with the global variables is that, as we see, well, we can access it from basically anywhere in our code. So we can, if we are not very careful, we can inadvertently change the value of a variable. And probably, I don't know, this value should have a number, and then I'm changing it to a string, and when I try to do then an arithmetic operation, then my program just blows up. So again, we should be very careful if we're going to use global variables. I guess, again, if you are like me, just like an amateur, or you do this for a hobby, you can probably get away with it. But if you are, again, as I normally said, if you are already working, you're in a professional environment, or you are taking like a well, not professional, what's the word that I'm looking for? Damn it. Well, you're taking a course, right, with the teacher and everything about programming in JavaScript. Well, just follow the rules of your teacher, of your boss, of your team mates or coworkers, um, about global variables, right? If they, in some cases, I think they're gonna tell you not to use them at all. So avoid any unnecessary headaches and not, well, don't use any global variables. Again, if you are just like an amateur like me and you want to use them, you can probably away with it. But again, you gotta be very careful not to change the value of a global variable inadvertently. Otherwise, well, you're gonna mess up your entire program. And well, I think that's it about variable scope. So I hope that you have found this video useful. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. uh, Also, what else? Oh, give it a like to the video and share it with your friends. And well, thank you very much. I hope to see you on the next video.